Hello, dear students. How are you all? I hope you all are staying safe and healthy. Now, we will start with chapter number 2, Microorganisms. You might have noticed that when the food is left open for few days or in summer for few hours, what happens? It rottens. Also, before consumption of water at your home, that is your drinking water, your mother purifies the water. Why does it so? Why does the food rots, or we need to purify the water before drinking? The answer is because the food rottens due to development of germs, and we purify water because unclean water have germs, and these germs, if we consume them, they make us unfit and they cause diseases. So what are these germs? These germs are a type of harmful microorganisms that harm our body. Now the question arises, what do we mean by microorganisms? So children, microorganism is derived from two Greek word, that is micro, which means very small, and organismos, that means organisms, that is living things. So very small organisms, very small living things that we cannot see with our naked eye. We need a microscope to see them. So these very small organisms are called as microorganisms, or in short microbes, and the branch of biology which deals with the study of these microorganisms is called microbiology, and the scientists who study about these microbes or microorganisms are called as microbiologists. Now, these microorganisms can be unicellular, that is made up of only one cell, or multicellular, that is made up of many cells. Next thing we need to know is, where are they present? So they are found everywhere, in water, in soil, in air, deserts, polar region, ice cold water, marine habitats, etc. So they are found in cold climate also, as well as in extreme hot climate also, in humid climate also. So they are found everywhere in all types of climate. Now how they can survive such hot or very cold climate that we human beings also cannot survive in? So the answer is because they develop a hard outer covering which is called as cyst around them. So children, when these microorganisms experience or encounter any harsh condition that is unfavorable to them, like very cold or very hot climate, so what happens? Outside their body they develop a hard outer covering which is called as cyst, cyst. Okay, now this cyst, under this cyst, these microorganisms remain inactive, and when the right condition arises for them, and then when these unfavorable conditions vanish, then they break open the cyst and becomes active again. Okay, so that's how they survive in extreme harsh conditions. Now they have heterotropic mode of nutrition, that is they depend on others for food, they cannot make their own food. Exception to this is some bacteria are autotrophic, that is they can make their own food. Parasitic microorganisms which cause diseases in host are known as pathogens. You have studied them under the mode of nutrition in class 7. parasitic mode of nutrition, that is living on or inside the host body and deriving nutrition from the host body. So such type of microorganisms which live in or on the host and cause diseases in them, these microorganisms are known as pathogens. Now we will study about types of microorganisms. They are classified into 4 major groups: bacteria, algae, protozoa and fungi. One more group is there, that is viruses. So they are broadly classified under 5 classes. So first we will study about bacteria, that is the most common microorganism. Bacteria, singular, we pronounce as bacterium. They are unicellular, that is made up of single cell, and they exist in single form or in chain or in groups. They have a thick outer wall which is called as spore, which help them to survive in unfavorable condition, that is the conditions which are not favorable to them. Now there are mainly 3 types of bacteria according to their shape. Bacillus is rod shaped bacteria. See children, here these are the rod shaped bacteria. Then coccus, that means spherical shaped bacteria, these are coccus. And spirillus, that is spiral shape, that means in a shape of a comma, somewhat like a comma. So these are the 3 types of bacteria based according to their shape, and they exist singly, as you can see in the picture, or in chain, that is one after the other, or in clusters, that is the groups. So the bacteria, as I said, some bacteria are autotrophic, that is they produce their own food. However, most of the bacteria are heterotrophic, which shows saprophytic or parasitic mode of nutrition. Parasitic I have already discussed, and saprophytic is that feed on dead and decaying matter. Next is algae. Unicellular is pronounced as alga. They are autotrophic organisms which can make their own food. So they are plant-like organisms and they have cell wall. They contain chlorophyll and they can make their own food, hence they are autotrophic in nature. They lack roots, stem and leaves, and they can be unicellular or multicellular. Seaweeds are the largest algae and they are found in water bodies and moist places. Nowadays in rainy season, you might have seen the place which is wet for a longer time, a green color outer covering develops on that place which is slippery. So that is due to the growth of algae there. Now in your book, 2 different types of. Next is fungi. Singular form is pronounced as fungus. They are also plant-like organisms which show heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Under heterotrophic, the type of mode of nutrition is saprophytic, that is they obtain their nutrients from dead and decaying matter. Examples are mushroom, molds and yeast. Mold is a type of fungi you might have seen on bread. When your bread is moist and kept for few days, what happens, you might have seen the growth of gray color thing on the surface of bread, that is fungus grown on the bread. And if you observe that fungus under microscope, you will see interwoven thread-like structures which are called as hyphae, and the name of the fungus which grow on bread is rhizopus. Okay, so mushroom, molds and yeast are some examples of fungi. Next is protozoa. It means first animal, that is they were the first animals to be discovered which are unicellular organisms and exhibit animal like characteristics. Examples are amoeba, paramecium, etc. They exist in water and soil as well, and they have various locomotory organs, that is various organs for movement like pseudopodia, which is present in amoeba. Then cilia are small hair-like structures present all over the body for movement, that is there in paramecium. And flagella, that is a long hair-like structure which is present in euglena. Okay, here you can see paramecium has a small hair-like structure, and this a long hair which is present, that is called flagella. So flagella are very less in number, 1 or 2, whereas cilia are small as compared to flagella but are present all over the body. Okay, and they digest their food in the small compartments which are called as vacuoles. The last category are viruses. Okay, virus means poison in Latin, and they can be helpful as well as harmful. As I said earlier, they are linked between living and non-living. Why? I will tell you. Outside the host body, they function as non-living because they lack the cell organelles which are necessary for multiplication. So they do not grow, they do not reproduce when they are outside the host body. But once they enter the host body, they utilize the energy of host body and start reproducing. They start multiplying, and in this process of multiplication, they are harmful to the host cell, and sometimes they often kill also the host body. So inside the host body, they function as living things because they are reproducing, they are multiplying, and outside the host body they function as non-living because they do not reproduce. So they can be considered living also and non-living also. Nowadays COVID virus, that is also a virus and it is a viral disease. So as far as this virus is outside the host body, it is not harmful, but once it enters our body, what we see, it is a deadly disease. It is often killing also many people. So viruses are very harmful also sometimes, children. And some diseases are like mild cold and cough. This is also a viral disease, but it is not so dangerous. So some viruses are very dangerous for us, whereas some are not so dangerous. So children, this is all for today. Go through the topic in your book, give it a reading and understand it. Okay, take care. Bye bye.